What is up YouTube, and welcome to this Avengers Endgame video. So there will be spoilers for Avengers Endgame in this video. So if you're new to the channel, please do leave a like and subscribe down below if you do enjoy the video. And I cannot be held responsible for any spoilers here. Now I was going to do a full-on kind of Marvel callback MCU video. I wasn't too sure, but I'm going to just break them all out into different videos and explain them a bit more in depth, to be honest, and to get the views, obviously, because I'm a YouTuber at the end of the day. But I've spent all day playing Persona. That's probably why I have not actually done or decided to make a longer video, to be honest, because really I just could not be bothered. And well, Persona 5 has taken my life. If you haven't played it, go and check it out. It is really, really good. But what is interesting is that there are many different moments within Endgame, and I'm sure that there are many other Easter eggs in this movie which I didn't pick up on. I'm going to go see it again on Sunday, and one of the coolest things was the original Ant-Man helmet that we saw in Hank Pym's lab in the kind of army base there, which was the SHIELD Labs, which was pretty dope. But one of the big things, which kind of a blink and you'll miss it, or kind of rustle your popcorn and not hear it moment, was when we heard Okoye mention that there was a kind of earthquake, a kind of undersea earthquake near Wakanda, which is really, really curious because, well, that if you're the casual fan, you're not going to know what that means. You're going to just think that 5 years' time that there's going to just be some earthquakes and that's really it. But one of the first mutants to ever exist was Namor the Submariner. And of course, he has been a thorn in the side of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and Black Panther as well throughout the history of Marvel Comics. He initially fought the Fantastic Four, fought the Avengers. He's sort of been a good guy, been a bad guy. He's also been on the Illuminati with Professor X, as well as good old Black Panther as well. So he has played a huge part within the Marvel universe, and it will be interesting to see because Kevin Feige has said that he wants to have Namor the Submariner within the MCU at some point. Now, where would you actually introduce him? Possibly having him in a Fantastic Four movie would be a bit weird, and having the debut movie of having the Fantastic Four here in the MCU would be a bit odd, and it would be a bit strange to have such a huge villain like that for an origin story of the Fantastic Four. Now, it would be a very good way to introduce the mutant population in some way. Of course, he also sees everyone who is or kind of goes onto the sea as a intruder or an invader. That's what's happening, or has happened recently in the new Avengers comics that we've had recently, kind of the reboot that they've, or kind of the reshuffle of the roster, so to speak, there that we had recently, which is interesting. I'm not really a big fan of the current Avengers comics. It's just not really my cup of tea. Very heavy on Captain Marvel, who just doesn't seem to be written very well whatsoever. But I'm a big fan of Carol Danvers in the MCU nonetheless, even though her movie, again, wasn't that good. I just really like the character. I guess that's just me. But one thing that was really, really interesting is that we're getting, or at least we had, the Black Panther return. And we have also got the 5 years timeline. So the timeline where the earthquake happens, it still exists. So everything that's happened in the 5 years, well, that all exists and is fertile ground for setting up anything, because anything could have happened. So where would you introduce Namor the Submariner? Well, you'd introduce him in the Black Panther 2 movie. Perfect villain, and you can set him up for spin-offs with the mutants and introduce mutants to the MCU. Now, what is interesting is that, well, that's not just any kind of spitballing theory. What's going on here is the fact that, well, Namor may be attacking Wakanda. Considering the fact that, well, half of life has been destroyed, Namor, as the head of Atlantis, he probably actually is pretty peeved and wants to try and make up some ground and attack Wakanda and attack the kind of humanity, so to speak, there. And if Atlantis is close to Wakanda, that's probably the first place he's going to actually attack. So if he's doing this with underground earthquakes. Well, as Koi said, it's just earthquakes, but they don't know anything. And really, once they said that, they then went on the battle and things like that. They didn't choose to investigate it too much. And I think they'll probably have that plot lead for the upcoming Black Panther movie, which I think will be really, really awesome. Because what's interesting as well, another thing which works, is because Black Panther actually is a enemy of good old Namor, because Namor the Submariner in Avengers vs. X-Men, he actually destroyed Wakanda. He flooded the entirety of Wakanda when he was under the kind of influence of the Phoenix Force there in Avengers vs. X-Men. So that is a big thing there, and I definitely do think that that is a Namor the Submariner kind of Easter egg there, and something they will unpack later on in the MCU. But that is it for this video. Please drop a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.